never thought I'd be the kind of guy to doubt love. "You're overthinking," Liam said, leaning against my desk as he sipped his coffee. "Emily's fine. You're just paranoid." "I don't know, man," I muttered, staring at my phone. Her texts came in at all hours, quick, vague, sometimes disappearing before I could even read them. "It's just something feels off." "Feels off how?" Liam asked, raising an eyebrow. "She's distant. I catch her smiling at her phone in ways she never used to. I mean, we're happy, right? But..." I hesitated, unsure if I was imagining things. "Look, everyone's busy sometimes. You're letting your imagination run wild," Liam shrugged. "Trust me, you'll drive yourself crazy if you keep this up." "I guess," I said, forcing a laugh. She used to tell me everything. Every little thing. Now it's like she's hiding." Liam clapped me on the shoulder. "Then talk to her. Don't stew in it. You'll feel better after." I wanted to. I really did. But every time I tried, she brushed it off. "Don't be silly, I'm just tired," she'd say, flashing that smile that used to melt me. I'd nod, trying to believe her, but the knot in my chest never went away. One night, I stayed late at the office. Emily had gone to bed hours before. I was scrolling through emails when a notification popped up on my phone. I froze. Her name. Not her usual text. Something secretive. I tapped it open. "Can't wait to see you later." I blinked. My heart skipped a beat. I stared at it, hoping it was some mistake, some joke. But the timing, the tone, it wasn't meant for me. The next morning, I tried to act normal, but I couldn't stop replaying it in my head. At lunch, Liam noticed my distracted look. "What's wrong?" he asked. "Nothing." "Just tired," I muttered. But I knew he didn't buy it. Liam always knew when I was lying, to myself mostly. Later that evening, I decided to go home a little earlier than usual. Emily was on the couch, scrolling through her phone. "Hey," I said, trying to sound casual. "Hey," she replied, barely looking up. "Long day?" "Yeah, you?" "Same," she said, her eyes glued to the screen. I sat beside her. "Everything okay?" She glanced at me, a flicker of something I couldn't read passing through her eyes. Of course, but then the buzz. Her phone lit up again. She glanced at it quickly, then hid it under the pillow. My stomach dropped. "Who's that?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "What?" she said, panic flashing in her eyes. "No one. Emily," I said softly. "You don't have to hide things from me. I'm not hiding anything." Her voice rose, sharp and defensive. "Why do you always make everything a big deal?" "I'm not trying to fight," I said, holding my hands up. I saw a text last night. It didn't feel normal," she laughed nervously. "It's just work stuff." "You worry too much," I nodded, but my chest felt heavy. The trust I'd always taken for granted was cracking, tiny fractures spreading faster than I could stop. Later that night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying her reactions over and over. Her smile, her quick defense, the way she hid her phone. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. I sat up and checked the living room. Her phone was gone from the table. My heart sank. She was already asleep, but the nagging suspicion wouldn't let me rest. Somewhere in the back of my mind, a warning bell rang. Emily was hiding something, and I had a sinking feeling that once I discovered it, nothing would ever feel the same again. I didn't mean to find out. I swear I didn't. But I was late to the office and Alex had left his laptop unlocked. I only meant to check a report, just a quick look at the numbers, then I saw it. A series of messages, hers and his. My heart stopped before I even understood the words. "I can't wait to see you tonight." "Me neither." "You make everything so exciting." I dropped the laptop. My chest burned. My hands were shaking. This wasn't a text meant for me. It was her, Emily, and him, Alex. I slammed my fist against the desk. "What the hell?" I muttered under my breath. Liam's voice popped in my head. "You're overthinking." "Yeah, right." "Overthinking?" I had proof staring me in the face. I couldn't wait. I had to confront her. I stormed into the apartment, adrenaline and rage colliding. "Emily!" I yelled before I even turned the key. She appeared in the doorway, a casual smile plastered on her face. "You're home early." "I saw the texts," I said, my voice shaking but loud. "Tell me that's not what I think it is." Her smile didn't falter. "And what exactly do you think it is?" "You're cheating on me." "With Alex, my employee." "Someone I trusted," I shouted. She tilted her head, amused. "Oh, that. You really think I'd hide it from you if I cared about your feelings? I froze. My chest tightened. You're laughing? I am, she said, her tone teasing, cruel. You're broken. I told you, you'd never recover. And look at you. Pathetic. Pathetic. I felt bile rising. Do you even understand what you've done? I understand perfectly, she replied, stepping closer. I've lived my life. You've lived yours. And now Alex and I are having fun. Isn't that all that matters? I shook my head, numb. Fun? You're destroying everything we had. Everything I built. And you... I broke off, tears stinging my eyes. You actually enjoy it? Her laughter echoed in the apartment. Of course. You think life is a fairy tale? I'm happy. You're a fool if you think I regret anything. I couldn't speak. My mind raced, trying to process the betrayal. The hours, the lies, the false smiles. Every moment we'd shared felt tainted now, a sick joke I hadn't understood until this second. You're unbelievable, I said finally, voice barely above a whisper. Do you even know what love is? She shrugged, careless. I know enough. And I know I'm done playing nice with someone who can't even keep up. I stumbled back, anger boiling into something darker. Alex is a coward. He doesn't deserve you, or me. Oh, stop being dramatic, she said, rolling her eyes. Alex loves me. You? You're just a chapter I'm closing. And don't worry, you'll recover. Eventually, maybe. Eventually? I repeated, incredulous. You think this is just some game I'll get over? She leaned in closer, her voice almost whispering. You were never the kind of man who could hold me. And now you're broken. That's the beauty of it. I felt a surge of rage, pure and raw, that burned through my veins. I wanted to smash something, scream, throw her out. Instead, I gritted my teeth and took a slow, steadying breath. No, I said, shaking my head. No, I won't be weak. You think you've won, but this isn't the end. Not by a long shot. She tilted her head again, amused, but I didn't care. I turned and left the apartment before my hands could start shaking uncontrollably again. I needed air, space, a plan. The betrayal had cut me open, raw and bleeding. But for the first time since I saw the texts, a new thought took root. Revenge. Not petty. Not impulsive. Calculated. Strategic. You'll regret this, I muttered under my breath, staring at the city lights outside. Both of you. I promise you'll regret it. I didn't know how yet. I didn't know when. But I knew one thing. I wasn't broken. Not anymore. And I wasn't going to stay that way. The night air bit at my skin, but I barely noticed. My mind was alive, spinning with possibilities. Every betrayal, every insult, every laugh at my expense, I'd repay it all. And Emily's smug little smile? I'd make sure it disappeared first. I clenched my fists. I'm not done, I whispered. Not even close. I stared at my reflection in the office window, sipping my third coffee, and tried not to think about her. Emily. Her laugh. Her smug little face when she told me I'd never recover. Hey, Liam said, leaning against the doorframe. You look like hell. Still thinking about her? I snorted. Every minute. But mostly I'm thinking about how pathetic I must have looked last night. You mean yelling at her? Liam asked, smirking. Yeah, pathetic. But I get it. I can't stop replaying it, I admitted, running a hand over my face. Every word, every laugh. It's like it's burned into my brain. Look, you're better than that. Don't let them see you crumble, Liam said. You need to focus on work, on you. Revenge won't fix this overnight. I'm not thinking about revenge, I said, though my jaw tightened. I'm observing, watching, figuring things out. Liam raised an eyebrow. Observing? Sounds more like scheming to me. I shook my head. Maybe, but right now I just need to understand. Alex, Emily, they're tangled together in ways I didn't expect. You're going to burn yourself out, Liam warned. Sleep, man. You can't function if you're exhausted. Sleep? I hadn't slept properly in days. Every time I closed my eyes, her face appeared. I could feel her smug smile, hear her laughter mocking me. I looked down at the watch she gave me on our last anniversary. I hadn't worn it since discovering the texts. The gold glinted in the fluorescent office lights, and I felt a pang of anger. It used to mean something. Now it was a symbol of everything she'd taken from me. Still staring at that thing? Liam asked. Every time I see it, it reminds me she lied, I muttered. I can't even look at it without feeling sick. Then don't look at it, he said. Or wear it. Get rid of it if it tortures you. I clenched my fists. Not yet. I want to remember. Not the love, but the betrayal. Keeps me sharp, Liam shook his head. You're playing a dangerous game, my friend. You're letting rage guide you. I don't care, I said. I need clarity. If I lose control now, I'll never recover. If I stay smart, I can fix this. Slowly. Liam leaned closer, lowering his voice. Just don't let it consume you. You're stronger than you think. I hope so, I admitted, because right now, it feels like everything I trusted is gone. But I can't let them get away with it. I need to watch them, see how they operate. And that'll help how? Liam asked. Knowledge is power, I said, almost whispering. I see their patterns, their habits. Every laugh, every glance, every meeting Alex has with her, it tells me how connected they are. And maybe, just maybe, it'll give me the edge I need later. You're obsessed, Liam said, shaking his head. Don't let it destroy you. I'm not destroyed, I replied. Not yet. But I'm changing. Harder, sharper. That's what she doesn't understand. I'm not the same man who trusted her blindly. A ping from my phone distracted me. A coworker's message. Heard Alex is gunning for your position. Be careful, I froze. Alex ambitious? Threatening me at work. My stomach churned. Alex? Ambitious? I muttered to myself. Exactly what I said, Liam said. See, things are moving. Don't get caught off guard. Keep your eyes open, I nodded, swallowing my anxiety. I will, I have to. Emily thought she broke me completely. She was wrong, and Alex, he doesn't know what's coming. The watch on my wrist caught the light again, gold against my skin, and I stared at it. It was a painful reminder of love lost, trust shattered, and the slow, simmering anger that would drive me forward. I clenched my fists, my mind already calculating, observing, planning. Sleep eluded me, yes, but clarity had arrived. Emily and Alex had no idea the storm they were about to face. I didn't show it, but I was simmering. Every meeting, every glance at Alex, I measured, calculated, waited. Calm on the surface, chaos burning inside. Hey, Sarah said as she slid into the seat across from me. You okay? You've been different lately. Different how? I asked, smiling faintly. You look focused. Cold. Like you're plotting something. I chuckled softly. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm finally paying attention to the right things. She raised an eyebrow. Careful. People notice when you start scheming. Not if you keep your cards close, I said. Speaking of which, I need someone I can trust. Sarah's eyes narrowed slightly. Go on. I'm watching Alex, I said quietly, leaning in. He thinks he's clever, ambitious, untouchable. But he's sloppy, overconfident, and he underestimates me. I need allies who understand the stakes. Can I count on you? Sarah hesitated, then nodded. Yeah, I've seen him cut corners. And frankly, he's irritating. Fine, I'm in. Good, I said, letting a small smile cross my face. We'll move carefully. Watch, wait, and when the time is right... Sarah grinned. I like it, feels satisfying. I felt a rush of relief. Someone else who could see the chessboard. Later, I met Michael in his office. Michael, I said, closing the door behind me. I need advice on handling people who think they can walk over me. He leaned back, steepling his fingers. Sounds personal. Very personal, I admitted. But it's also professional. Alex is ambitious, reckless. Emily, she's careless and smug. I need to regain control without them realizing it. Michael studied me for a long moment. You're calm, calculating, that's good. You've got anger, yes, but don't let it cloud judgment. Make them underestimate you. Then strike. That's exactly what I want to do, I said. Step by step, subtle, observing reactions, sowing seeds of doubt. Sarah will help, I just need to know the limits. How far can I push before it's obvious? Far enough that they stumble, Michael said. Not so far that they suspect you're orchestrating it. Keep the facade of weakness. They'll reveal themselves, I nodded. I can do that, I have to. I won't make the same mistake twice. Over the next few days, I immersed myself in work, projects, and meetings, always keeping an eye on Alex. Every slip, every arrogance-filled comment I cataloged mentally. Meanwhile, Emily seemed oblivious. She smiled, laughed, and flaunted her happiness with Alex in public, completely unaware I was already plotting. One afternoon, as I passed the lobby, I saw them, Emily holding Alex's arm, laughing like nothing had happened. My stomach twisted, but I didn't approach. I didn't need to. I just watched, making mental notes. Looks like they're inseparable, I muttered under my breath. Sarah appeared beside me. You're staring again. It's creepy. I'm observing, I said. Every laugh, every touch, they're careless, thinking they're untouchable. But I'll use that, she nodded slowly. You're frightening when you focus like this. Good, I said softly. They need to feel that I'm gone, broken, harmless. And while they're distracted, I'll take control. Every project, every conversation, every subtle move, I'll shape the outcome without them realizing it. Sarah tilted her head. You really mean it? You're not bluffing. I never bluff, I said. Anger is one thing. Strategy is another, and this is war, she laughed lightly. War, you make it sound epic, I smirked. It is, for me it's personal and professional. And I'm not losing again. Not to Emily, not to Alex. They think they've won, but they haven't even seen the first move yet. The lobby grew quiet, but I didn't take my eyes off them. Emily's smile, the way she clung to Alex's arm, the careless arrogance, it all fed the plan forming in my mind. I'd let them enjoy their little victory while I quietly regained everything they thought they stole. When Sarah nudged me, I finally tore my gaze away. Time to get back to work, I said. Always calculating, she muttered, shaking her head. I didn't respond. I didn't have to. My mind was already several steps ahead, tracing their movements, anticipating their mistakes. By the time I returned to my office, I felt a cold satisfaction settle over me. Emily thought I was broken. Alex thought he was climbing higher. And I was already preparing the board for the moves that would bring them down. Patience, observation, strategy. That's how you win. Alex, I called as he walked past my office. Got a minute? He froze, then turned, flashing that arrogant grin. Sure, what's up? Sit, I said, gesturing to the chair across from me. I want to go over your last report. He raised an eyebrow. You're mentoring me now? I'm offering advice, I said evenly. Call it what you want, he laughed. All right, teach me then. I leaned back, letting my gaze roam over him. First thing, your analysis on the Thompson account. You missed some critical trends. You can't ignore small patterns. Details matter, Alex. Yeah, he said dismissively. I'll fix it. Dismissive, huh? I said, tilting my head. Confidence is good. Arrogance? Not so much, he frowned. I'm confident, not arrogant. Look, I've got Emily's support, so I don't need validation from you. I froze for a fraction of a second. Emily's name slipped out effortlessly, revealing exactly what I suspected. I'm not here for validation either, I said calmly. I'm here to make sure you don't make a fool of yourself. You rely too much on people covering for you? Covering for me? He scoffed. I do fine on my own. And Emily? Well, she's smart. She knows what she's doing. That's exactly my point, I said softly. You lean on her. You depend on her judgment. That's a weakness, Alex. Don't think I don't notice. He shifted in his seat, uncomfortable, but tried to mask it. I'm fine, really, you're imagining things. I smiled, though it didn't reach my eyes. I'm not imagining anything. You're sloppy, careless, and overconfident. If you don't fix that, you're going to crash. Hard, he laughed nervously. You sound personal. I am personal, I admitted. But also professional. There's a difference. He didn't respond, just stared, and I let the silence linger. The tension was delicious. Later that day, I passed Emily in the hallway. She smiled, eyes flicking briefly to me, then back to her phone. Hey, she said lightly. Hey, I replied, keeping my tone neutral. Busy day? Always, she said, tucking her hair behind her ear. You're different lately. Moving on, I guess. I smiled faintly. Maybe, just focused on work. She tilted her head, suspicious but unwilling to press further. All right, if you say so. I walked away, keeping my expression calm, but my mind was calculating. She misread everything. She thought I was moving on. She had no idea I was watching, waiting, preparing. Later, I overheard her speaking on the phone while leaning against the coffee machine. Her voice was low but clear. I just don't know if Alex is really the one. He's ambitious, sure, but sometimes, I don't know. He might not be enough for me. My chest tightened. Every word was like a small victory. The cracks were showing. Emily's smug confidence was faltering. I smiled faintly to myself. Not enough, huh? I muttered under my breath. We'll see about that. Alex appeared beside me, grinning. You look like you've got something brewing, boss. What are you thinking? Thinking? I asked, tilting my head. Just observing. Watching patterns, weaknesses, things you don't notice when you're distracted, he laughed nervously. Distracted? By Emily? Partly, I said calmly. Mostly by your arrogance. He didn't know whether to be offended or worried. Good. That uncertainty worked in my favor. Every interaction was a test, a subtle reveal of his character. Every glance at Emily, every casual comment, they didn't know I was cataloging it all. I let him squirm under my calm demeanor. Keep this up, I said softly, and you'll learn just how much reliance can hurt you. He nodded slowly, unease flashing in his eyes. I leaned back in my chair, silent, letting him absorb it. As I returned to my office, I glanced at Emily across the room, talking to a coworker. Her smile faltered briefly, her tone uncertain. The seeds were planted. They had no idea I was already several moves ahead. I exhaled slowly. Observation complete, game advancing. I watched Alex from across the room, pretending to type on my laptop, my fingers barely touching the keys. He didn't notice me, of course. That was the point. Hey, Alex, I said casually, leaning back in my chair. Got a minute? Sure, he said, smiling confidently. What's up? Just going over your latest project, I said, opening the document he'd submitted. I noticed a few gaps. Little things you missed, he frowned. Gaps? I thought it was solid. I'm sure it was, I said slowly, but I added some additional notes for clarity. Check this section. I slid the file across the table. See? Patterns in the data you overlooked. He skimmed it, nodding slowly. Ah. Yeah, I see, thanks, I'll fix it. Take your time, I said with a small smile, but try not to repeat the same mistakes. Consistency matters, Alex. He nodded again, oblivious that every correction I suggested was strategically placed to expose weaknesses. A misstep here, a subtle oversight there, carefully orchestrated. Later, Sarah passed by my office. Alex is panicking, she whispered. Did you do something? I shrugged. I'm just observing. Nothing more. Observing, she asked, raising an eyebrow. He looks like he's ready to run for the hills. I'm not proud, I admitted. But satisfaction is inevitable when someone underestimates you. He's arrogant, careless, and Emily's bubble is going to burst because of it. Emily? Sarah asked softly. Yes, I muttered. She thinks everything is perfect. She doesn't notice the cracks forming, but she will. By mid-afternoon, whispers started circulating in the office. Did you see Alex's report? One coworker asked another. He missed critical details. Not what I expected from him. I watched the panic spread, delight and guilt mixed in my chest. I wasn't supposed to enjoy this, not fully, but every stumble, every questioning glance felt like justice. Looks like someone's finally catching on, I said quietly to Sarah. She smirked. You're ruthless. I like it. Ruthless? I echoed. No, I'm careful. Calculated. Ruthless is for people who act without thinking. The next morning, Emily appeared in the lobby with that same confident smile, only it was faltering. I caught her glance at Alex's desk, noticed her lips tighten as she absorbed the chaos he'd caused. Morning, I said casually as she passed. Morning, she replied, hesitating. You look different. I'm focused, I said softly, letting my eyes linger just enough to make her uncomfortable. You know me, always focused on work. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Yeah, of course. I sensed her anxiety, the tiny cracks in her carefully constructed world. I didn't push further, not yet. Observation first, action later. Later that day, Alex came to me, eyes wide. I don't understand, he said, voice tight. I followed all your guidance, but the client wasn't happy. They said the analysis was incomplete. I leaned back, calm, controlled. Interesting, I said softly. Maybe the problem isn't what you did, but how you approached it. Patterns matter. Timing matters. You missed the bigger picture. He swallowed hard, confusion and worry flickering across his face. I thought I did everything right. You did some things right, I said, voice smooth. But the details, the subtle things, were off. Learn from it. Alex nodded slowly, unaware that every error had been guided by me. He had no idea the reputation he relied on was crumbling right under his feet. Emily appeared suddenly in the doorway, her voice trembling. Can I talk to you? I looked up, neutral. Of course. What's wrong? She hesitated, biting her lip. I don't understand. Everything seemed fine yesterday, and now… Alex, he's… Failing. What's happening? I kept my expression calm, letting her anxiety simmer. Maybe things aren't as perfect as you thought, I said softly. Her eyes narrowed, suspicious, defensive. You don't mean this, right? You're not… involved? I smiled faintly, cold, controlled. I'm just observing, Emily, that's all. The rest is on him. Her shoulders stiffened, confusion mixing with fear. She stepped back, unsure, and I returned to my laptop, pretending to type. I had made my move, carefully, subtly, and now I watched the tension grow. Emily thought I was weak. Alex thought he was untouchable. Both were wrong, and I had only just begun. We need to talk. Her voice was small in the hallway, testing my calm. I thought we already did, I said, keeping my tone even. Emily's eyes searched my face. Are you okay? People are saying things. You've been different. I'm fine, I lied, watching her flinch. You're the one with questions. You told me I'd never recover, she stilled. You didn't mean to cheat? I asked. You didn't mean to laugh at me? You didn't mean to bring him into our lives while pretending everything was perfect? She opened her mouth, closed it. You told me I'd never recover, I repeated. You said it like a prize. Do you know how that felt? To hear the woman I loved announce my doom? Emily's face tightened. It wasn't meant as victory. I was unhappy. Unhappy, I echoed. So you broke me because you were unhappy. It's complicated, she whispered. You were always working. You made me feel alone. Don't make excuses, I said. You chose to betray me. You chose to be proud of it. She took a step forward, voice urgent. Please listen. I never wanted to ruin you. I was selfish, not cruel. You call bringing another man into our bed selfish, not cruel? I asked. You think words fix that? Her lips quivered. You gloated, I said. You laughed about my pain. You made it into your triumph. And now you act surprised when it hurts. Her eyes widened. That's not how it was. You're twisting things. Am I? I asked. I watched your messages. I saw your smiles. I watched you plan. They were moments, she said weakly. They meant nothing compared to what we had. What we had? I laughed, a thin, hard sound. You turned what we had into a stage. Her posture collapsed. Please, I'm sorry. I never wanted this. Sorry changes nothing, I said. You think an apology undoes nights of lying? Tears gathered in her eyes. I'm scared, she admitted. If this gets out, my reputation, my life… You already lost me, I said. Everything else is consequence. You wanted to break me, didn't you? Prove I'd never recover, she shook her head. No, I wanted freedom. Not to see you hurt. Freedom through destruction, I said. That's what you chose. Her voice turned small. You've changed. You're not the same man I left? I had to change, I said. Weakness nearly destroyed me. Pain taught me to be colder, smarter. Her face showed shock. Were you behind Alex's failures? The whispers? I didn't lie, I said. I nudged things, let truth do the rest. People saw what they needed to see, she swallowed. You wouldn't ruin me. I already started, I said. I didn't ruin you. You ruined what you had. I simply exposed it. She stepped back, panic rising. Please, I'll lose everything. I can apologize. I can fix this. Fix it? I repeated. You want to fix a betrayal? You can't rebuild trust with words, her eyes pleaded. Then what do you want from me? I studied her, the woman who had once been my future and had become my enemy. I want my life back, I said. I want the truth to have weight. You'll face consequences, not because I'm cruel, because you chose this. Tears streamed down her face. I'm sorry, I am. Please, this isn't about apology, I said. It's about accountability. You'll see what you set loose, and you'll realize your victory was an illusion, she whispered. You're terrifying. I learned, I said, turning to leave. She reached for me, voice trembling. Tell me what you want. How does this end without everything collapsing? You already know the price, I said. Reputation, trust, quiet respect, those are fragile. They crack when pressure is applied. I applied pressure, her pupils dilated. What did you do? Is this revenge? Is this punishment? It's consequence, I corrected. Not because I savor harm, but because actions demand answers. You'll watch people question you. You'll feel doors close. That's not my joy, that's accountability, she whispered. I didn't expect this. You expected softness, I said. You expected me to break. You were wrong now. The office was quiet when I walked in, but the silence carried tension. Everyone knew. Whispers filled the corners like static. I caught fragments. Alex messed up again. Emily's losing clients. Did you hear what happened yesterday? Sarah leaned against my desk. You saw the memo? I nodded slowly. Yeah. Alex's presentation tanked in front of the board. Numbers were off by 30%. 30, she said, smirking. That's not a mistake. That's self-sabotage. Not mine, I said softly. He did that on his own. Sarah raised an eyebrow. You sound almost disappointed. I'm not, I said. I'm just watching the fallout. It's strange how fast everything collapses when the truth catches up. A few desks away, Alex sat hunched over, rubbing his temples. I walked toward him slowly. He looked up, eyes red. I don't get it, he said quietly. I double-checked everything. I swear I did. You rushed, I said calmly. You wanted praise, not precision. You stopped listening, he blinked at me. You think this is my fault? I think you built a house on sand, I replied. Now the tide's in, he groaned, burying his face in his hands. Emily's furious. She said I embarrassed her. I almost laughed. She would. She said I ruined her image, he went on, voice cracking. She doesn't get that I was under pressure. She never gets it, I murmured. He frowned. You sound like you know her better than I do. I used to, I said. Now I just understand the pattern, he shook his head, frustrated. Everyone's turning on us. It's like overnight we became the villains. Maybe that's what happens when masks fall off, I said. That afternoon, Emily stormed into the office. She looked exhausted, perfect hair undone, makeup smudged, her perfume clouding the air. Once, that scent meant home. Now it burned like poison. Can we talk? She said sharply. I glanced at the glass-walled meeting room. Sure. Inside, she slammed her purse down. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I'm observing, I said evenly. Don't lie to me, she snapped. You wanted this. You wanted to see me crumble. I wanted truth, I said. Crumbles come free, her voice trembled. Everyone's avoiding me. The board doesn't return my calls. My friends finally see you, I finished. That's not my doing, Emily. That's karma. Karma? She scoffed. You sound self-righteous. I sound calm, I said. You built a world on manipulation and now you're shocked it's collapsing? She exhaled shakily. You think you've won? There's no winning, I said. Just lessons. You, me, Alex, we all got what we earned, her jaw tightened. You used to love me. I did, I admitted. And that's what made me blind, she looked down, voice small. I made mistakes. Mistakes don't laugh at people when they're bleeding, I said. Mistakes don't gloat, her lip trembled. Alex blames me for everything. He says I pushed him too hard, I raised an eyebrow. He's not wrong, she looked up sharply. You're supposed to be kind. I was, I said. Until kindness became weakness, she whispered. I thought you'd hate me forever. I don't, I said truthfully. Hate fades. Disappointment lingers longer. She closed her eyes. You sound... Done. I am, I said. Completely. For a long moment, silence filled the room. Her perfume lingered, heavy and cloying. I remembered the first time she wore it, the night she said she loved me. Now the scent felt like betrayal in a bottle. When I stepped out of the meeting room, Michael was waiting by my office door. Impressive work lately, he said. You handled the crisis with grace. Crisis? I asked. He smiled. What looked like chaos from the outside, you managed from within. The board noticed, I blinked. What are you saying? You're being promoted, he said simply. Director of Strategy. For a moment I couldn't speak. You're serious? Completely. You earned it, I shook his hand. Thank you, Michael. When he walked away, I looked through the glass wall at Emily. She sat alone, staring at nothing. Alex stood near the elevator, phone pressed to his ear, voice raised in anger. I should have felt elated. I should have celebrated the justice, the balance restored. Instead, a hollow calm settled over me. Sarah approached quietly. You did it, she said. I thought it would feel better, I admitted. She studied me. Revenge rarely feels like healing, I nodded. Yeah, it just stops the bleeding. As I packed my bag, I caught one last whiff of Emily's perfume drifting through the air. Once it meant love. Now it meant endings. I walked out of the office, the promotion letter in my hand, the past behind me, finally free. The city felt different now, brighter maybe, or maybe I was finally seeing it without the fog of resentment. The morning light spilled across my desk as Michael knocked on my door. "Early again," he said, smiling. "I'm starting to think you live here." "Old habits," I replied, closing my laptop. "I used to come early to escape my thoughts. Now it's just routine," he nodded thoughtfully. "You've handled everything well. Most people would have crumbled under that kind of pressure." "I already crumbled once," I said quietly. "Now I just build differently," Michael chuckled. "That's wisdom talking. You've changed, maybe," I said. "I just stopped fighting ghosts." He studied me for a moment. "You know, the board is impressed. They see you as steady, reliable, even under emotional fire." "I learned the hard way," I said. "You can't control betrayal, but you can control what comes after." Michael leaned on the doorframe. "So what comes next for you?" "Peace," I said. "Or something like it," he smiled. "You've earned it." When he left, Sarah poked her head in. "Boss," she teased. "You're trending again." "Trending?" I frowned. She handed me her phone. LinkedIn post. "Resilience in leadership. You've got 2,000 likes already." I laughed softly. "Funny. A year ago, I was the one everyone doubted," Sarah grinned. "Now you're the example they quote in meetings." I handed the phone back. "Let them quote. I'm just trying to live." She tilted her head. "And Emily?" I paused. "She's somewhere learning her lessons, I hope." "She reached out?" "No," I said. "And I'm glad. Closure doesn't always need words." Sarah nodded slowly. "You ever think you'll forgive her?" "I already did," I said. "Not for her." "For me," she smiled softly. "That's growth." After she left, I leaned back in my chair, staring at the skyline. For months, Emily's voice had haunted my thoughts. "You'll never recover. You'll never move on." Now her words felt like echoes from a distant life. I whispered to myself, I recovered by outgrowing the version of me she broke. At lunch, Michael joined me in the courtyard. He carried 2 coffees. "Thought you could use one." "Thanks," I said, taking it. He sat down. "You know, I've seen people go through worse and stay bitter forever. But you?" "I had enough bitterness," I interrupted gently. "It was poison disguised as power," he smiled faintly. "And now?" "Now I understand revenge isn't the same as peace," I said. "Revenge ends the story. Peace begins another," Michael nodded. "Wise words. Maybe you should start writing them down." "Maybe," I said, "but I'd rather live them first." The afternoon passed quietly. Work flowed easily, my mind calm. For once, success didn't feel like proving anyone wrong. It felt like alignment. Around 5, I packed up my things and took the long route home. The air smelled like rain and streetlights flickered to life. A small cafe near the corner caught my eye. I hadn't noticed it before. Inside, soft music played. I ordered a black coffee and sat by the window. A woman at the next table smiled. "Rough day?" she asked. I shook my head. "Actually, it was a good one." "That's rare," she said with a laugh. "I'm Lily. Nice to meet you," I said. I hesitated, then smiled. "Someone who's finally at peace." She tilted her head. "That sounds like a story." "It was," I said. "Now it's just a lesson," Lily smiled again. "Well, here's to new chapters." We clinked cups lightly. Something about her energy, calm, grounded, curious, felt different. Not attraction exactly. More like recognition. She asked, "So what do you do?" "Strategy and development," I said. "Mostly rebuilding things." "Rebuilding?" she echoed. "That sounds like more than just work," I smiled faintly. "It is." The conversation flowed easily. Books, travel, little philosophies about life. She listened more than she spoke, and when she did, her words carried warmth instead of judgment. When I stood to leave, she said, "It's rare meeting someone who sounds healed." "Healed?" I repeated. "Maybe just honest." "Honest works too," she said, smiling. "Maybe I'll see you here again." "Maybe," I said, and walked out into the cool evening air. As I crossed the street, the scent of rain mixed with something faint, perfume from someone passing by. For a moment, my chest tightened, remembering Emily. But the feeling faded quickly, replaced by calm acceptance. That perfume used to haunt me. Now it was just another scent in the world, familiar but powerless. I looked up at the sky, a soft drizzle starting. I didn't run. I let it wash over me, light and cleansing. The city lights blurred through the rain, glowing like new beginnings. I smiled to myself, whispering, "Moving on isn't forgetting. It's remembering without pain." For the first time in a long time, I meant it, and somewhere between the rain and the city noise, I realized this was freedom. The day felt strangely calm. The kind of calm that comes when every storm has passed and you can finally hear yourself breathe. I sat by my window, the city stretching endlessly before me. The same skyline I once stared at through anger now looked peaceful. Michael called just as I poured my coffee. "You sound lighter," he said. "I am," I replied. "I think I finally understand what all this was for." He chuckled softly. "Enlightenment before 9 a.m.? That's progress. More like acceptance," I said. I stopped fighting what happened. There was a pause on the line. "You did what most can't, turn pain into power," I smiled faintly. It didn't feel like power back then. Just survival. "That's where power starts," he said. "So what's next?"
"I don't know," I admitted.
"For once, I'm not planning revenge or redemption. Just living," Michael's tone softened. "You earned that peace. Don't let anyone take it again." "I won't," I said. When the call ended, I looked at the small box on my desk. Inside lay the old watch Emily had given me years ago, silver, elegant, once my favorite. I hadn't touched it since the breakup. Lily's words from the cafe replayed in my head. "It's rare meeting someone who sounds healed." I picked up the watch.
"You used to mean time spent in love," I whispered.
"Now you're just time passed." The second hand ticked steadily, a reminder that life doesn't pause for heartbreak. Later that day, Sarah stopped by my office. "You're quiet today," she said. "That's either good or dangerous." "Good," I smiled. "Just reflective." She leaned on the chair. "You ever think about them anymore?" "Sometimes," I said. "But it's different now." "How so?" "They're not the center of the story anymore," I said. "Just lessons in it," Sarah nodded slowly. "That's poetic. So what's the moral?" "That sometimes losing everything is how you find yourself," I said. "Pain isn't punishment, it's purification." She gave me a soft smile. "You sound like a different person." "I am," I said. "And I like this version better." She hesitated. "Do you ever miss her?" I looked at the watch again. "I miss who I thought she was." "Not who she turned out to be," Sarah nodded. "Then that's closure." After work, I took a long walk through the park. The air smelled like rain and jasmine, the same scent Emily used to wear. I caught a faint trace of it as someone passed by, but it didn't sting this time. It felt neutral, almost nostalgic. I sat on a bench watching couples stroll hand in hand, laughter floating through the air. A few months ago, that sight would have burned. Now it just was. My phone buzzed, an email notification. "Promotion confirmed. Congratulations." I smiled. Success didn't taste like revenge anymore. It tasted like independence. I opened the box again, staring at the watch under the park light. "Do I keep you or let you go?" I murmured. Lily's voice echoed in my memory. "Here's to new chapters." I stood, walked to the nearby pond, and held the watch above the water. "You were once my favorite reminder of love," I said softly. "Now you're a symbol of everything I outgrew." The metal glinted under the fading light before slipping from my hand into the water. The ripples spread outward, calm and quiet, like closure itself. I exhaled deeply, feeling lighter. For the first time in years, there was no bitterness left, no unfinished sentences, no unspoken rage. Just peace. On my way back, I called Michael again. "Did something happen?" he asked. "I let go," I said simply. He chuckled. "You sound like a man who finally forgave time." "Maybe I did," I said. Time was never the enemy. I was. That night, I met Lily again at the cafe. She smiled when she saw me. "Back so soon?" she teased. "Routine," I said. "Peaceful one." She nodded toward my wrist. "No watch today?" I smiled. "Didn't need it anymore." "Symbolic, huh?" she said. More like necessary, I replied. Some things you only carry because you're afraid of forgetting, she leaned forward. And what if forgetting isn't the goal? Then remembering without pain is, I said. Her eyes softened. You really have moved on. I didn't move on, I said quietly. I moved forward. We sat there in silence for a while, the hum of the cafe wrapping around us. Outside, the city lights shimmered like distant stars, familiar yet new. I sipped my coffee. You ever feel like life has a way of balancing itself? Always, Lily said. Karma, fate, whatever you call it. It comes around. I smiled faintly. Then I guess it finally came around for me, she raised her cup. To surviving the storm, I lifted mine. To becoming it. We clinked glasses, and something settled inside me. Quiet, certain. When I stepped outside, the night air was cool. I glanced once at the pond in the distance where the watch now rested. I didn't feel loss, only release. Emily and Alex existed somewhere out there, living their versions of closure. But their stories no longer intersected with mine. I had my own to write now. As I walked home, the city pulsed softly beneath the stars. Every step felt deliberate, grounded, alive. I whispered to myself, revenge ended the pain. Growth ended the need for it. And in that single truth I found peace, quiet, unshakable, mine.